All right, what up, guys? We're going to get right started into the breakdown of the games, where I'm going to just go over and talk about the mid-game options as to why and when I do these things, which are hugging the pillar, PvE healing, avoiding CC, kiting DPS if being trained, getting CC off, keeping distance from the enemy team, following your teammate for freedoms, bops, and keeping them dispelled, and stacking to avoid CC, as well as I wanted to mention here that during the mid game is where you would want to drink as well, so that when you get into the late game or when you're low mana or anything, you're not caught with your pants down trying to get a drink off, because that is bad. You have to do it early. The enemy team will see and they'll just stop you from drinking. Okay, so here is the Q sesh of queuing some Hpal Warrior, and I'm going to talk about talents I run, and here I swap off of Big Sac for Darkest Before Dawn, seeing as how they both have kicks, and I'm not playing with a caster. They're probably going to kick me a lot, so I don't want to sit back and try to cast heals. Right here, I'm telling my word that I'd like to be playing rep most games, though now he's saying he wants to go the Prot Pal here, so I deem that it is better to play either Short Hodge or Blinding Light. Warriors may or may not be running the Stormbolt talent, so running that Short Hodge can be useful. I wasn't actually tracking if he was impending victory here, but as you can see, he's actually not Stormbolt, so I think running Short Hodge may have been a good play here. So right out the gates, you're going to see that I'm building my 2 Holy Power. This is exactly what you want to do if you are, as soon as the gates open. So I do that. I'm now going to get my 3rd Holy Power with Flash of Light. I'm going to Necro Shield, because if the warrior is running at me and leaps onto me, presses every single button, I'm gonna want as much HP as freaking possible to work with to live his cooldown. So I don't really have anything that I want to try to fleshcraft here. If they are on top of me, it's more likely that they're gonna just kick me outright and I'm not gonna get any value from the fleshcraft. So I choose the fleshcraft here early. I don't know what I had like a hair in my nose. Anyway, and I just had to fix my UI. I should have done this in the gates. I'm going to shorten my nameplates. So right here, as you can see, my warrior ran right into the paladin and their warrior. And I can tell that though they're going to try to go me because the other warrior was on his mount trying to get to me. So I see this. I see that my warrior charges on the paladin right here. He said he wants to go Pala. So instead of running in circles, and then being cut off by my warrior later, I choose to try to just get a blind on the warrior here, and now I'm running to dispel my DPS, and I hodge the healer. So immediately we get trinket. This is fine. So now I know that the warrior is going to be connecting to me, so I have to have a plan. My plan is right now getting my holy power up, and I have a Vanquisher's Hammer charge available. So feeling pretty good. I'm going to instantly freedom the charge here, and so now I'm storm bolted. I still have wings, but the warrior is literally about to press every single button on me right here. The second he does that, I'm trading out Bop. I'm trading out Bop because I'm close enough to a pillar where if he immediately starts casting Shattering Throw, I can line of sight it. I could also try to War Stomp it if needed. But, so I trade out the Bop here. I want to save my Trinket and my Bubble for a scarier moment in time, and I do it at really high enough HP so that I'm not scared at all. So I keep running, trying to get distance, but then I notice he's swapping back to my Warrior, so I turn around, and now I have to press every single button to heal. Also, I wanted to mention that this game was completely cucked because there's a bug in the game right now that your legendary will not actually work. Your unity will not work in arenas, and so you could see earlier in the game, I've only had 1 stack of Vanquisher's Hammer charge this entire arena, okay? This is a bug. I pretty much swapped my gear set, loaded into the game, and it said I'm supposed to have 2 stacks of this, okay? So the trick, if this happens to you guys, make sure you check for this because it is so much harder, you'll see in this game, for me to keep my team topped without that extra Vanquisher's Hammer charge, okay? So what you do is you take the piece off of your character and put it in your bags and just re-equip it. It'll fix it. Regardless, my warrior trinkets this disarm here. Think it's fine. I have another Bop, but I want to save it. I'm playing small sack, so I want to use my small sack early here. My warrior's taking a lot of damage. I still have wings rolling, but just in case he gets like big, damage off, I want to use my sack here. It's the same thing as Ore Mastery. Just use it at like a high enough HP to where you can get some value of it. It's not ultimate, so you don't want to press it at 10%. You want to press it higher. So now I'm kind of just chasing my warrior because they're swapping to him. We get the fear off on the Guardian Angel, the Prot Lego proc, when he gets low HP. He tops himself, and now I'm just chasing my warrior, trying to keep him topped. I get feared here, and I know that if I don't trinket this fear, my warrior is probably going to die, or I'm going to have to trade out a bop, and I don't want to trade out a bop yet, because, you know, the warrior doesn't have really that many cooldowns rolling. It's just 5 seconds left on his banner. So I trinket this instantly. I think it's fine. If they go me in a Hodge later, I'll worry about that later. I have bubble if I need it. I can also bop. So I trinket immediately. We also trade out rally, and we're just going to keep healing here. I have to bop here because I don't have a freaking second stack of Vanquisher's Hammer due to the bug. And my warrior's at 30%, and I'm 1 holy power off of being able to give him like a big word of glory, okay? But I don't even have Vanquisher's Hammer charge, so if I did have 3 holy power and I did wog, it wouldn't even heal for that much. It'd be like 20% of his HP. He's now at 30, so I need to buy time for my Vanquisher's Hammer charge to be up, so I choose to press bop. I also don't have Holy Shock up, and Bestow Faith actually gives your 1 holy power after it procs, like, I don't know, 3 seconds later. I'm not close enough to a DPS to press Crusader Strike, and if I spam Light of the Martyr here, he could actually just end up dying through. You want Light of the Martyr as a last resort. So I choose to press a bop here, and they have no way to do damage into it except for the Prot Paladin can cast some holy abilities, but not enough to hit for 30%. So I trade out the bop here, and now that the warrior charged me, I'm going to Crusader Strike him immediately, use my Vanquisher's Hammer charge, and top my team. And now I just want to keep like kiting towards the Prot Paladin a little bit. They're hitting me, I'm fine. Now I want to kite away because he was blade storming. I don't want their Fury Warrior to cleave as much as mine does. So, getting my distance, the warrior charges back. I'm now back running in. As soon as I get distance from this guy, he is just, you know, getting off of me, which is great. That's what you want to do. You want to, it's like a yin yang. You want to just play that distance, make sure you run away when you need to, when you're getting hit, and prevent them from cleaving, and, you know, come back in when they swap to your teammates so that you can be in line of sight, help them, freedom, etc. Now I swaps my warrior. We have like no cooldowns left. I have no sack. I have no bops. I'm honestly shitting bricks here, and because I have a fucking bug in the game, but it's fine. I see that my tier set is procced here, okay? So I'm going to press my Light of Dawn naturally. This is why you want to track your tier set, because it's honestly an insane amount of healing. I just topped me and my warrior and I, rather, for like 30 to 40% heal on each of us, okay? And because I had the tier set proc, I can make that happen. It's actually useful to press Light of Dawn naturally when you don't have a Vanquisher's Hammer charge and your team is kind of scared. I did want to keep us safe in case they have a lot of burst damage. So here, I'm just building up holy power. I actually pre-Aura Mastery, I have Devotion Aura up, as you can see. And, you know, it's fine. It's, you know, I probably should have used it earlier, but there's not, like, one set time to use this. I don't have Bop for this disarm, so I'm kind of crying. I noticed that I have Hodge for the Paladin here, so I'm going to go ahead and use it. And I see that my warrior is swapping to the Fury Warrior. So now I just need to start casting heals. I recognize that I don't have a Vanquisher's Hammer charge. I don't have any other buttons to save my teammates, so I just have to cast natty heals here. In this situation, it would be really good to be playing the Light's Grace talent, though having the Darkest Before Dawn helped me out earlier in the game. So now I just throw out a Judgment, and I'm trying to just keep my distance. They are absolutely pounding my warrior. He has the healing talent, though, so he's going to be doing okay. I do proc my tier set again, which is really nice. I'm probably going to use that here. I do. So now I have a Blinding Light, and I know that Blinding Light actually goes through Holy Paladin's sack, because if you read the debuff, it says it will break to non-holy damage, and Blinding Light is it deals holy damage, rather, the sack dot, and Blinding Light does not break to holy damage. So what I'm going to do here after this Hodge is go ahead and blind, but anyway, I didn't get to utilize that there. It's fine. Get a full blind here, and now I'm trying to top my team. He's low. My team is low. I'm trying to just do damage. This is hard. You don't know whether or not you should heal or try to go for the kill because he has 3 seconds left on Blinding Light. He has no trinket, though. So I do go for a heal, and then he's at 1% HP, literally 805%, 805 HP. So if I had done damage, he might have died there, but I chose to keep my team alive instead. If I was tracking my warrior's heal, maybe I would have done damage instead. But anyway, so he gets the GA out here, and I have War Stomp. So what I do is I just run over, war stomp the Guardian and the Paladin at the same time. So they're both CC'd. The warrior didn't get, the Holy Paladin didn't heal the warrior, and he's just gonna die in this Blade Storm. I'm able to generate Holy Power and top my warrior there. So we ended up winning with some CC on the Paladin and swapping to the Warrior, even though he had said that he wanted to go Paladin from the get-go. You typically don't want to run down Paladins because they're going to play the Reign of Endless Kings Prot Legendary, which makes it so when they hit 10% HP, they have the Guardian Angel that procs on themselves. And this is just like such a low cooldown. It's like 30, 45 seconds, something crazy, especially with conduits. So you're going to want to try to CC the Paladins and go the DPS if possible, unless you have abilities like Warrior Fear, like War Stomp, etc., Stormbolt, maybe Hodge, Blind, to stop the channel on the Guardian Angel so that you can end up killing the Warrior or his teammate. Once again, just showing that why being a cow is literally the better option in being in arenas, because you can turn Prot Paladins into useless peasants when they press their buttons. So, you know, don't play Blood Elf. I just want us the game there with that War Stomp. And this happens hundreds of times, okay? So anyway, that's what you kind of want to do versus Prot and Fury. I didn't get to mention, let me mention this very quickly. When you're playing against Fury Warrior, they have this Slaughterhouse buff, right? And it's at 4 stacks right now on my teammate. His warrior, you can see, has 8 stacks of it. When it's at 8 stacks, it does 40% Mortal Strike, reducing the effectiveness of healing incoming on the target by 40 fucking percent, man. That's a lot, okay? So you can bop this off, though. I didn't play, or I used both my bops already, but when you're a HPAL playing against Fury Warriors, you want to be able to track this number of stacks on your teammate, because if they are at 8, what you need to do to remove the stacks is get away from the warrior, and he kind of has to just have a ton of uptime to keep the stacks up. If he doesn't touch you for like 2 seconds or something, if he gets storm bolted, disarmed, you know, whatever, the stacks will drop. But if your teammate is not keeping track of this or actually actively trying to kite the cooldowns, and he's just staying at 8 stacks the entire arena, you're gonna have to bop it off, because if you try to heal it, you're gonna be freaking sad, man. You can't do it. It's so fucking hard to heal through that shit. So there is a way to track it in big debuffs. I found out on stream yesterday. I'll upload a small snip of that later on. But going forward, that's what you want to do versus Prot and Fury Warrior generally. So versus the Sub-Rogue Holy Priest matchup, I do end up swapping off of Aegis first off, because the amount of magic damage they're going to do is marginal, and I'd rather have Battle Masters, but since I don't have a Battle Masters, I'm going to be playing Resonator here. I do keep my Big Sac versus Rogues, because they are a short burst window class, and they can do a lot of damage in a short window, so I need to be able to trinket and sacks to prevent my teammate from dying. There's nothing really I need to pre-sack, like a Hunter Trap or anything, or a Fear. And most of the time I get super unlucky with Priest Fear, and it doesn't break to sack damage anyway, even if I'm Ultimate Sack, because that's a cool method to play the game. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to cape rep here, and we're just going to go right into this game. I want to get a Fleshcraft off early, but my warrior is going to leap immediately here. I'm building my 2 holy power. I should have started fleshing already, but then the rogue is going to open with me on me out of stealth with nothing. I start fleshing, and he just kicks me. I have no idea what's happening now. They're just allowing us to play the game. So my warrior pops every button, and I hodge the healer. We get a full kidney on my warrior. He trinkets and fears to do a ton of damage. And then their rogue trinkets, he probably should have sat. Both teams just gave them every cooldown in the game. Their sub rogue just dueled, and my warrior blade storms to avoid any incoming CC, although he's still on DR for the kidney. But I think at this point we want to kill the rogue, but my warrior is still hitting priest a ton. He's just doing a ton of damage. Right now I just want to keep up with my warrior and try to use Hodge or Rep in order to kill the rogue. And I recognize that my warrior has no trinket, so I should be playing on top of him here, but I get cheap shotted. He's not close enough to to chastise Fear Me or anything. I do end up bopping there because the rogue is pressing Shadow Blades, so it's a big cooldown. Want to stop as much of that damage as possible. I may have been able to heal through it naturally, but if I tried to heal through it naturally, the priest could have chastised Feared Me immediately. Now he is forced to use a global pressing Dispel and then doing it, and now my warrior kind of just tops himself. I get quarter cheap shotted here, half cheap shotted. Very questionable at best, but we're just going to keep going. I freed up my warrior just to have some more uptime. Now I see that my warrior swapped to the rogue, so I'm going to start looking for the Hodge rep and the War Stomp rep. So I actually get stopped on this War Stomp here. I get chastised. The rogue vanished. And then I think he comes out and does nothing. The priest gets a nice double fear here, and here is a key moment in the game that is going to make you one of the best paladins on the fucking ladder if you can make the right decision here every single time, okay? I'm still not perfect with this. This is going to take a lot of games, a lot of experience. And this specific situation is when a rogue uses Smoke Bomb, and you have to recognize that if you trinket and run into the Smoke Bomb to sack, they will swap you, and you're going to end up having to bubble regardless, okay? So if you have that forethought and recognize, man, if I just trinket run in there, I have to bubble anyway, why not just bubble first, run in, and then sack? You know, the priest might get an MD off. It's kind of sketchy if he does. Then you can use trinket. But in this, the correct thing to do in some of these situations is to bubble, then run in and sack your teammates so they can't get swapped. You can't get swapped to and die. And you can, if you end up trinketing and running into Smoke Bomb, they could micro you or CC you for a short time trying to run into the Smoke Bomb, and then you won't get the sack off anyway. So I make the wrong choice here, and I trinket, run in, and press sack. And you're going to see that they're going to swap me, and I'm going to bubble. But if in this situation, I would have had pressed bubble and ran in, I would have been able to hold my trinket, okay? So I trinket, I sack, they swap to me. I'm not playing Aegis, so I can't even pair that, and I'm just taking so much damage, I'm forced to bubble regardless. So, very bad. They got trinket, sack, and bubble in one swift go just because they pressed Smoke Bomb. Whereas, I could have pressed bubble and sack, and I could have held my trinket. So anyway, we live, we get rally out, I top my teammate, the rogue is like 1 HP, I get a full Hodge on the priest, he trinkets, we get disarmed, we're looking good, I'm bopping just to keep up some pressure, and now I'm going to start, this is also a vital part of the game right here. So I see my warriors pumping on the rogue, I'm going to start try to rep the healer because he has no trinket, okay? So watch what I do here. I rep fake out the Shadow Word Death, okay? I instantly start casting rep again. I know he's going to greater fade. I get the greater fade. He has no fear for 3 seconds. He shadow melds on top of it as well. All during this time, the rogue is not getting any healing, only instant cast. The priest isn't able to spam cast heals because he's too busy juking my CC. So I'm putting him in a position to where he either loses the game by getting CC'd, but he's also, on the other hand, losing the game because he's at the same time not healing his teammate. And so the rogue gets really low here. We get really lucky, and my warrior actually blade storms this kidney shot right here, and he just gets proc to death while this priest is trying to cast a flash heal. Okay? But, so I didn't get to cast rep much this game. It's kind of an awkward game, not really scripted, not what you're going to see very often. But kind of learn that you just want to keep up damage pressure. Definitely good. Make sure you can recognize when to bubble and then sack in a Smoke Bomb rather than trading trinket and everything on top of it. That was actually awful. That's kind of what you want to look for the Rogue and Holy Priest 2's matchup. And next up, we'll be going into DH and Rsham. So, versus DHs, I'm sure you guys already know, as you've seen, they are literally a fucking god in twos, okay? They just rampage through city streets, murder children, families, you know, they don't give a fuck. They just kill anything in front of them, don't think twice. They're a literal savage beast, gorilla. So you want to play as much healing as possible with your talents. So, as you can see, I trade out Big Sac for Darkest Before Dawn, and I'm trading Double Bop, Double Freedom for Light's Grace as well. And I'm going to be playing Blinding Light as well. As I've said before, you can Blinding Light the DPS. Once they trinket, you can Hodge them, vice versa. And with these talents, because I'm playing with the Warrior, they're really tanky. He's not going to be playing Stormbolt and the Impending Victory talent, which allows him to heal like 40% of his health every 25 seconds. I'm just going to be able to get away with playing Small Sack. This game is a bit of a doozy, though. They do mess up, and we end up like kind of globaling one of them. So you're typically going to have a harder time versus team, especially. But what you want to do is just try to live as best you can. If you can live Metamorphosis, set up a Hodge on the DH behind the pillar into a blind, or vice versa with the Shaman. Things to note out for are reverse magic from Demon Hunters as well as Blur, okay? When Demon Hunters have Blur, you can't fucking kill them if you're a melee, okay? If you're a caster, they can still die, but they have still like a 10-20% damage reduction. As well, Shamans have Grounding Totem and Kick. You want to be aware of that. Demon Hunters also have Darkness, okay? But they also have Reverse Magic, what is what I was trying to get to, whereas that if I Hodge the Shaman, he can press Reverse, and then the Hodge will actually come onto myself. So I kind of want to be very careful about when I Hodge, and not just use it when the DH is right next to the Shaman, so he can Reverse Magic it. I try to go in here and start tracking this Impending Victory talent, but I'm too slow because I'm old now, and don't get that off. I'm just going straight to the pillar, getting my Necro Shield up. If you use your Necro Shield in the arena gates, you actually lose about like 3k of the shield or something like that. So you want to, if you're using it to, have as much HP to work with as possible, you want to use it after the gates open. So I can see that they are going to swap and they're pressing every single button on my Warrior. I'm going to go for a remount here immediately. I think Small Sack or try to get a Vanquisher's Hammer off. I do Blinding Light the DH immediately along with the Earth Heli Pet to negate the damage. We get the DH's Trinket immediately. I press Vanquisher's Hammer, Wings, and now I'm pumping. The DH did big meta here, or he didn't big meta, so I'm actually just crying. I Hodged the DH after his Trinket behind the pillar. We end up getting the Dispel there, but now my Warrior is just kiting the Demon Hunter as much as possible. He calls out that the Demon Hunter has no blur. I wasn't tracking it on Omnibar, but I am now in my future games. So he wants to go the Demon Hunter. I don't have any CC for the Shaman, but my Warrior has every single button. I see that Healing Tide is down, and we nearly freaking global this DH because he has no blur. Okay, we get Spirit Link out of the way as well. I kill the totem. We kill the Spirit Link. We get a double fear onto the Shaman. He has Trinket, but he's not going to use it here because the DH kites a bit further away. I'm doing so much damage to this DH, and he ends up just getting fucking globaled. So look to try to kill DHs after they blur, especially. And that's kind of what you want to do versus those classes. This is the same thing here. Resto Druid, Demon Hunter, gonna swap to the same talents as before. I may play, no, okay, I don't play Double Bop here. I do play Blinding Light. I don't want to play Short Hodge, I don't want to play Repentance or Short Hodge because the Demon Hunter could just reverse it, and then I'm sitting my own like 7-8 second Repentance. So it's pretty bad. I'm gonna swap off of Resonator here. No, I stay Resonator, and I'm pretty sure my Warrior wants to kill the Druid here, by the way. Yep, he says, let me go Druid. I say, yep, sounds good, because going DHs while they have Blur up is very tough. They have a Demon proc they can get that heals them for like 20% of their HP as well. So I'm staying on my mount. I see the DH is running at me. I just want to keep as much distance as possible. I'm going to Dispel that. Probably didn't need to stand still there. And my Warriors trinketing, we're popping every single cooldown, and their Druid is kiting. I see that the Demon Hunter is popping on me. He hasn't pressed cooldowns yet, though. I'm just trying to kite as much as possible. I'm going to look for a double blind here. I get the Hodge behind the pillar. The DH is chasing my Warrior, and now we do damage. Connect a little bit. He reverses a quarter Hodge, which is freaking beautiful. That's what you want, because now I'm on the stun DR as well. You don't want to, get a full Hodge on yourself if they're stacked up together. So we're kiting, and I'm keeping enough distance between me and my Warrior to where the Demon Hunter isn't able to just cleave off of both of us, okay? So I'm just trying to stay in line of my Warrior just in case he gets rooted or something. I can see he presses his defensive there, and I also want to try to do some damage to the Druid, like, while we're running around. He does skip out on the Cyclone cast there. Their DH is pressing meta. I'm generating Holy Power, pressing Vanquisher's Hammer, just doing as much damage as possible. I have a War Stomp here, so I was kind of looking for it there in case he got the Cyclone off. I blind the Demon Hunter behind the pillar. He does get a purge kick off on me here, so I'm shitting bricks. And I end up trading out Bubble. Thank God I have enough HP and gear to work with there, otherwise I would have died. Now I can see that the Druid's like trying to cyclone me or something, but they swapped my warrior. I'm coming back in. This guy is literally about to die. I use small sack at the lowest health percentage possible. We get a nice sphere on the DH with no trinket and a reflect on the cyclone. I think if the DH had hit my warrior there, he actually might have died, but I'm believing he thought it was ultimate sack or something. So he actually swaps to me, which is great. I end up topping my warrior out of this, I believe, and I have a full Hodge. We get we get Blur as well as Netherwalk there. So if I can top my warrior, we're looking pretty good. I tried to time my abilities properly, but I end up getting it here, and here's a very sad day as a Holy Paladin player. When you have a Vanquisher's Hammer charge and you press it, and somebody CCs you, by the time you press WOG and like the half a second it takes for the Word of Glory to come off, if they CC you in between these two abilities, your Word of Glory just won't go off. So that's what happens right here. So I'm actually crying. It's so unfortunate. I don't know why that's a thing. It's like they can't cancel the animation or something. But I end up getting Cyclone, so I Trinket out immediately because I recognize we're going to die. The Druid tries to Cyclone me. I think I tried to Fleshcraft that clone there, but I wasn't able to because I jumped like a little monkey. And now I just want to keep up Holy Power, keep pumping. I have a Hodge for the Druid, but the DH is a literal, track athlete that can run across a fucking map and do laps around people for hours. Has the world record for his high school class or college graduate. I don't fucking know. This guy's a racehorse, so he gets there, reverses the Hodge. We're still pumping, which we get the darkness. I have wings back, and I just want to do as much damage as possible. We have so much press. I'm kind of looking for a War Stomp here. War Stomp this Cyclone. I get stopped on it, which is super unlucky. I have no outs. My warrior is literally on the verge of fucking death. We end up baiting out the Cyclone. I greed and go for the Vanquisher's Hammer cast here, and now I'm just trying to get more Holy Power up. Trying to save my Vanquisher's Hammer charge, but I use it there anyway, and we're just fucking blasting this guy. And the Druid still has Trinket. He just can't keep up with the raw amount of damage that my Fury Warrior with 4 pieces doing. So just kind of want to keep uptime, try to avoid CC as much as possible. Be aware of when you're hodging into Demon Hunters because it could end up biting you in the ass. And that's about it for 2s. I don't know. I recommend going the healer, but we ended up going the DH there. I wish I was blinding or rep, but not exactly. They have reverse anyway. All right, and for here we've got Holy Priest versus Fury Warrior. I just went into Omni CD and started tracking the Warriors' impending victory, charge, and heroic leap. These are things you want to keep track of that I haven't been, so started tracking them. I do want to keep playing Repentance versus the Holy Priest. I really think that getting CC on him and killing the Warrior is the better option here, but I'm going to see what my Warrior ends up doing. I think Ultimate Sack is okay here. You definitely want Double Bob versus Fury Warriors. I'm going to play Ultimate Sack here because if the Priest is Boon of Ascendance, the Kyrian Covenant, it is a fuck ton of burst damage, and the Warrior also just fucking pumps like a monster as well. So we're going to go with these talents. I'm going to look to CC the Priest and kill the Fury Warrior. And try to bop my Warrior when he is at 8 stacks of impending, not impending, fuck, what is it? I don't remember. 8 stacks of the fucking debuff. But, so immediately going to the pillar, generating my holy power, their warrior charges in. I'm just going to sit here and PvE heal because I don't really know what we're doing yet. I don't want to give my positioning and get fucked by a chastised fear. So I'm kind of just sitting here. I'm really ready to go. He's now at 8 stacks of the debuff. You can see it right there. It's kind of hard to see, but he gets storm bolted. So I'm going to bop it at the tail end of it. I end up dispelling the mind games that comes out. And looks like my warrior is going on the priest. So now I'm kind of I want to just stay in line, do damage to the priest. We end up getting jump there. I end up trinketing and big sacking my teammate. We're taking a lot of damage. I trade out my wings because their warrior is pressing recklessness. So you want to line up cooldown for cooldown. The priest comes back down, so I think we're going to swap to him. And so I want to just keep my distance from the warrior, not allow him to cleave, maybe bring him behind LOS. And we end up just fucking globaling the priest, and he's not playing res Lego. So that's gonna be that. I don't know, guys. Maybe you should just queue with a Fury Warrior with 4-set. It looks like they're fucking insane. Um, but I gave you the general idea of what you want to do versus that team, and I also didn't leave the pillar early and run at the priest because I could have gotten chastised fear. Okay. So maybe that can help you understand my decision making that game. I honestly didn't do a lot there. When you play with good DPS on your team, that may be the case more often than not. That you really just don't have to do a whole lot except like keep him alive, for your team to win. Because the enemy team could just play bad and mess up. So we're running back the same comp. This time it looks like I'm swapping off of Ultimate Sac. I'm gonna be playing Lights Grace instead. Guess I'm just trying out some talents. They don't have like super long CC chains, as well as like I can get out of a lot of them, like Warrior Fear I can bop, I can Trinket Chastise Fear, I can pre-sack a go as well. Again, just sitting at the pillar, PvE healing. I don't want to run at this priest first because he could Chastise Fear me. I bop though my Warrior Trinkets, I get a full Hodge off their Shattering Throw. Throwing the bop. I get a Repentance off on the Warrior just because I can. And he ends up using Zerka Rage there, which is good because now he can't Zerka Rage my Warrior's Fear. So the Warrior Fear is now their Warrior trinketed. He does have 8 stacks of the debuff, but he's on Forbearance, so I can't bop him yet. So I'm shitting bricks, trying to get in his line of sight and heal him. I have enough Holy Power. Trying to bop, I recognize he's on Forbearance. He's gonna fucking die soon. So I trinket, and now I get half feared. I bubble this because I know my Warrior is about to fucking die. I don't know if I bop this soon. I'm just trying to keep up freedom on my Warrior as well so he can kite the stacks. I recognize that he's not kiting the stacks, and that was a Word of Glory and tier set proc into the Mortal Strike, by the way. I don't know if you guys saw how much that heal did. It did like fucking 4%, okay? It did nothing. So you really want your DPS is to kite off these stacks if they can ever, or just bop it off. I could have bopped it off, but I'm trying to save it, or I guess he's on Forbearance. I don't know. Now my Warrior's about to die, so I bop him at low HP because it's my only out, and now I'm building up my Holy Power again, trying to stack heals on him. Lights Grace coming in with the huge heal right there, and I'm just PvE healing. And you see how I'm kiting behind the pillar here. I'm bringing the Warrior out of line of sight of his priest. Okay, this is very important, something you want to do. Okay, because then the priest is going to have to come in behind the pillar to heal the Warrior, and that makes him susceptible to CC like Hodge, Fear, etc., even getting kicked. But while he's 40 yards away just casting heals, we're not doing anything, and we can't kick him. Okay, so we bring the Warrior out of line of sight. The priest is now trying to get in and get a better angle on him. And I just want to keep uptime and keep healing on my Warrior, continually moving the priest to come in and get CC'd. Like right here, he gets hodged. So what happens here is we swap the priest. I throw my Resonator out. I'm using Devotion Aura, or I'm actually not using an Aura. This is why you guys need to make sure you have an Aura. Always check your UR and stuff before the game, because then you press Aura Master, you're just wasting a fucking global for no reason. So bad. And we're kind of just pumping. I think I'm gonna look for a Repentance later on. I literally typed out Kite to my Warrior because he just has 8 stacks on him, and I don't have any bops to remove it. So now I'm just trying to natty heal this. I'm going for the Repentance here. I juke the Shadow Word Death, and now I'm trying to heal. I know he still has Greater Fade, so I'm like, should I press rep or not? So I'm going for the rep. I get the rep here, and now we're just pumping. And I'm just healing my teammates, casting Flash of Lights. Lights Grace coming in hot here, looking good. He has 8 stacks of the buff. My healing does absolutely nothing. We fear the priest, and we end up getting his will and just blasting him at the tail end of that game. But so that was honestly pretty tough. Against Fury Warriors, you really have to manage your stacks very well. Try not to overlap the trinket and bop like I did with my Warrior that game. We're not in comms, so stuff like this is going to happen pretty frequently. And then this is quite an interesting comp we're about to play against here. Double Sub Rogue. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but it is the most toxic fucking comp in 2s you can play against. If they're good, it's really tough. I'm gonna play Lights Hammer here in order to try to YOLO the hammer and try to get them out of stealth in the opener. It's so fucking good if you can get them out of stealth. Blinding Light's really strong so that you can immediately stop them in Shadowy Duel as well. Blinding Light and War Stomp and any AoE CC goes through the Shadowy Duel. So if their rogue has no trinket, they're trying to one-shot my warrior, I can end up blinding lighting and trying to save him during it. So regardless, we're just going to start the game here. Let me go back a little bit. And I'm kind of chilling. We're just going to run over to their pillar. I want to stack up with my warrior the entire game. And my warrior says this is where I'm going to hold my trinkets. For Shadowy Duel, I say yes, for sure. He ends up leaping and getting the rogue out, which is super lucky. I used my aura mastery here, the devotion aura. And I'm going to hodge the rogue on his go. I didn't get sapped at all, so I don't really know what's going on. And I saw that they threw a resonator, so I stacked in the resonator. It ends up breaking the blind, so I don't trinket. This is why you don't want to like trinket or use your abilities like absolutely instantly, because they could accidentally break it, which is great. So now my warrior fears, we get both trinkets, and now I'm just pressing wings, and I'm able to naturally heal all of their damage. And neither of us had used trinkets, so the game is pretty much guaranteed in the bag. As long as we can get the eyes, we end up killing one of the rogues, and now the game is just over. I still have ultimate sacrifice and bubble and trinket. My warrior has impending victory and trinket, so the game is pretty much over. We end up sitting by the eye. This is what you guys want to do. The rogue gives a half-ass attempt at opening and just gets put in the dirt. So, and then in the next game here, Holy Priest versus Red Paladin, or Holy Priest and Red Paladin. Red Paladin's really tough. They have Sank. Okay, you want to track Sank and Omnibar. It's like 45 seconds to a minute cooldown. It can get anybody on his team out of a silent, stun, or fear effect, and reduces the incoming effects of those CCs by like, I don't know, 33% or 75 or something crazy. They also have Hodge, which is like for them it's like 30 to 45 second cooldown, because they always run short Hodge with it, which gets reduced for the amount of holy power you spend or the amount of judgments it is. And then obviously Holy Priest, same spiel. I'm going to be playing Repentance into this, and my goal is to just try to keep my team alive. Kite the wings, use Aegis on the ret wings as well. I'm playing double bop here for probably no reason, which seems kind of bad, but you probably want to play Light's Grace or Darkest Before Dawn. But we'll see. Maybe I don't think I'm going to need the double freedom here. I'm so used to playing against Ret and War, which is where you actually want the double bop. So I'm just kiting away from this team right now. I want to get to their pillar and start a go. I ended up generating holy power. They hodge, so I trinket sack here, big sack. I pair it with Aegis immediately, trading wings for their ret's wings, and just fucking pumping. I try to cast rep there, but we're hitting the priest super hard. And so now we're going to look at the ret while the priest is in the air. He's doing damage, hodging behind the pillar so that the priest can't do anything. I juke Shadow Word Death there. We get Fade. We're getting every single button. I would have loved to press Repentance, but we end up getting Bop here as well. I don't have Trinket. My warrior has Trinket, so if I get hodged with wings now, I know I'm going to have to trade Bubble. Try to War Stomp, rep this guy behind the pillar. I juke the kick. I'm going to land a rep here on him. I guess not. My warrior is trying to kill this priest, which I guess is pretty good. He Trinket fears, which is beautiful. He has will for the fear on him, and we're just trying to train down the priest. I want to make sure that I can live the next go. They're just kind of kiting and trying to separate us, it seems. They're under a lot of pressure, so I'm gonna look. I went to look for a rep, but because the paladin sacked, it would just break if I repped. So we're just pumping here, kind of coming into melee range in case I need to war stomp something. I recognize that the priest is coming out of the jump. Gonna look for a repentance, juke the kick, looking for another rep on the warrior, or on the ret rather. He gets dispelled, and so I hodge him on it. So now he's got to trinket it if he wants to get out. And I know that they're just trying to kite until Wings is back up. So I'm just trying to live. I use Aura Mastery here. And the second the priest is coming into range of me, I'm going to Fleshcraft, because I know that they probably have their go soon. Like Wings is coming up, or Chastise. I know he has Fear up. And so I recognize this, and I can tell the second the priest comes into my line of sight, he's going to try to fear. So I pre-aura mastery so I can't get kicked on it, and I instantly flesh here on the Chastise, okay? Beautiful counter go. This is how you want to try to use your aura mastery flesh. You're going to have to play against these comps a long time to recognize when they're going to try to do these things, but I was able to see there that they probably have a go soon, and that the second the priest is like running towards me, this is a big indicator. Whenever people are running towards you, they probably want to CC you or fucking kill you. And if it's a healer, the healer's not gonna fucking kill you, so they're just gonna try to CC you. Okay, so I knew this ahead of time, so I got to fleshcraft off the Chastise there. He ends up getting a fear on me, which is fine, but because I used aura mastery, my warrior also got a necro shield off there. And then he reflects the Hodge at the tail end here, which is fucking perfect as the warrior. That's such a high roll. I'm freedoming him. I just want to keep my teammates topped, trying to look for a repentance on the ret. But I'm also doing damage at the same time. I juke the kick here, so I'm just trying to kill him through this mind control. It doesn't end up working out. Now their ret presses wings. I trade out my wings. Looking for a War Stomp rep on the ret. He's going to trinket here, and I'm just trying to do damage to this priest. Almost killed him on the way up. I wall at 100% health. I might trinket. Oh my god, I'm so greedy. I am so greedy. That is not what you want to do, guys. I have trinket and bubble up, okay? Just use one of them. Don't be like me. I know I had intervened for my warrior, which is probably the only reason I lived, but it's still so sketchy and not worth it. Getting a flashlight off, just doing healing, just living forever. This is what you want to do. Trying to line of sight the priest so he can't do damage to me. I end up getting a Hodge on the ret behind the pillar, which is great. He instantly bubbles. This is what you want to do. Kite the DPS out of line of sight of their healers and CC them, okay? Especially on their cooldowns. So we're pumping. I'm trying to juke a kick here randomly. I still have a ton of healing. Stacking in the resonator. My warrior gets a beautiful fear off on the ret. And, we end up just killing the priest here. And I don't believe he's res Lego, so we end up taking down that game. All right, and next up we've got Affliction Lock, Holy Priest. We already know how to play against Holy Priest at this point, guys. Baiting out Greater Fade, baiting out Shadow Word Death. You can absolutely murder them. If that's what your team is used to doing. We're playing around 21 to 2200 CR and 2s right now, just by the way. And versus Affliction Lock, you 100% want to be playing the Darkest Before Dawn talent. You can also play Double Bop, Double Freedom. I think being able to have 2 freedoms is very strong for your warrior as well as yourself to not get to remove the like 70 to 80% slow. I am going to keep ultimate sack here as well because these affliction locks are going to fucking try to one-shot my DPS, and if my DPS doesn't have Aegis or a cooldown up, they're just going to die. So I end up keeping the repentance here as well. So we're running in immediately. I don't need to get holy power. I just kind of want to pump and keep on my warrior to prevent him from getting slowed and making sure he has uptime. I try to aura mastery and I get kicked into it. So I land a full Hodge. I rep off on the healer immediately. He came into the game late and I'm just doing infinite damage to this warlock. We end up getting trinket out from the priest. We have a full fear as well when the warrior can get there. Because now he can't trinket. I get mind games. I think I'm gonna bubble this off. Actually, I just Aegis and we just fucking one-shot the warlock and one in the fear since we had so much pressure. This is the warrior I have on my team right now is like every warrior I play against at like 2500 plus. They just run at you and fucking obliterate you through all of your cooldowns. And it's so hard to live. You have to trade every single button, kite, and play properly to live. And we end up just globaling that guy, but what was good is I aura masteried into rep on the priest. I did try to bait out like Shadow Word Death first, but I couldn't get that. But I was close enough to him to get the Hodge, so I ended up hodging. And then the Warlock didn't have kick because he kicked into aura mastery. And so I just get the repentance for free off of that. We force the trinket, and then we pretty much win the second my warrior can press a 5-second fear while his cooldowns are still rolling. So this is another reason why being able to rep is like very strong as a healer. If I didn't have that long of a CC chain on the priest there, we probably would have been sitting in that game for another 5 minutes. So really good. That's how if you don't end up getting to bait out like Shadow Word Death or Greater Fade and you're close enough to him, you could just try to throw out the Hodge and then repentance off of it, but always try to bait out these things. or test the priest at first and let the first one land, see if he reacts in time. It's a mind game between all these games. And last but not least, we have the dreaded Beast Mastery Hunter Holy Priest. And as you guys can probably tell from the previous games, how this one is going to go. Almost every single priest or partner of this priest has gone into the dirt. So I'll let you guys guess what we kill. And if you just guessed BM Hunter, you were wrong. You never kill that fucking class. Nice try. We ended up killing the priest here. But I'm gonna play small sack, of course. Double bop, super good. But I'm already ready to lose this game. I'm playing blinding light. My warrior even says we lose this 10 out of 10, and I'm like, you know, yeah, it's fine. What else are you gonna do except try to win? So I see that the pet is undead. I'm trying to market. The guy is AFK because he's a BM hunter and he could AFK, have his pet play the game for him. But I don't have leader, so you know, I can't mark the pet, but this is smart to do. You guys can also tell which pet is the real one if it has 120 focus is the real pet, okay? So, going to pillar, we open up on the priest. I press Ore Mastery, gonna press Fleshcraft here to try to avoid the pet stun into trap. Gonna turn evil on the pet here to try to avoid the pet sack, to not let the hunter pet sack. He ends up trapping me here. I think I'm just gonna trinket out immediately. Top my teammate. My warrior's pressing every single fucking button. This is every single warrior, man. Presses every button, instantly gets turtle, right? Presses tab and charge. Then we get the priest trinket and fade. So we're pumping. I'm scared now because my warrior has no buttons, or he has enraged regen up. I really need to dispel this. He ended up healing into the mind games, which almost murdered him. But he's going to be doing okay. We get Shadow Meld there, and we're just chasing after this fucking priest, man. I try to go for a War Stomp to stop the mind control as well. There's pets there. Looking for the real pet. I juked a kick. I'm trying to just fear the pet so that he can't pet sack the priest, pretty much. We're just chasing down this priest. He's got no trinket, no fade. We get a full fear on the hunter and the pets, and a kick on the door there, which is good. And we're just training down this fucking priest, man. There's nothing else to say. There's not any intelligent decision making here. I'm just trying to fear the fucking pet whenever I can to stop his pet sack. We get the priest greater fade here, and I'm just doing as much damage and as much healing as possible. I see that their hunter has trap up. There's nothing I can fucking do about it. So I'm just casting heals. I'm gonna bot myself out of this, and I canceled it for some reason. And I'm going to get trapped out of the sphere, so we pretty much lost the game. I should have just bubbled instead. I even type out dead, but my warrior doesn't get juked on, or he gets juked on the mind games and then reflects the mind games onto the healer and fucking murders him with it. And we end up taking out this game. I get the bop out on the warrior, and man, what an incredible spell reflect from him. And we're going to end that session at 22:56. So not too shabby. But that's pretty much what you guys want to do versus those specific classes. I'll try to get more games in versus other stuff. But I hope you guys could see kind of how I utilized hugging pillars and healing, kiting DPS while being trained, getting CC off properly, keeping distance from the enemy team to avoid being swapped to, as well as cleave. And although I didn't get to really showcase how to stack to avoid CC, but super key notes to leave you guys with is try to practice or being aware of when you should bubble and run into smoke bomb to sack your teammate, rather than using trinkets to run in and sack and then having to bubble anyway. Okay, definitely be aware of that. That was, I think, the key thing that every paladin should get used to. You look like a fucking god when you do it properly. And that's going to be it for this one. I'll be coming out with more class related comp specific stuff later. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments. Hit me up over on Twitch. Consider subscribing if you got something out of this. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys next time. Do not forget that even though I'm essential, so are you, baby. Peace. Oh my god.